Yes, I'll start by introducing the organization so that you know who we are. Watamu Marine Association works with community members within Watamu to develop marine resource management capacity so as to ensure the protection of our marine parks and reserves, which act as a natural asset that provides employment and economic well-being for the community members within Watamu. Other than that, it develops and creates partnerships between our members, focusing mostly on the tourism sector and the community sector, so as to ensure a win-win situation on all ends. Currently, we have over 22 member group representative. That is from the tourism sector, from the environment, and as well as from the community. And that means we are serving a total of over 4,000 people. Our main activities include community-based waste management and recycling enterprises, dolphin and whale watching, conservation, research and ecotourism programs, and then community-based ecotourism and sustainable tourism enterprise development. Though today I'll only focus on community-based waste management and recycling enterprises. Given that Watamu is found along the beach, we are not exempted from the problem of marine pollution. We have a lot of waste washing up on our beaches, and we also have a lot of waste found on land, mostly from the tourism industry. And given that Watamu is a tourist destination area, this would not paint a good picture of the place, because no tourist would want to come to a dirty place. So we decided to set up this project so as to be able to come up with local and sustainable solution to the global problem of marine pollution and overall the problem of solid waste pollution, by setting up the community-based waste management and recycling project. And the project was launched in 2010 to ensure that we keep our beaches as well as our environs clean. And the work was the guys who were mostly in charge of doing the cleaning is a group. It still is a group of community members known as the Blue Team. Blue Team is a local community group that has been trained on how to sort waste. So they go out once in a week to collect the waste on our beaches and as well as along our streets. And after collecting that waste, it's brought to the recycling center where it is sorted and crushed. We don't just leave all this work of cleaning the environment to them. We always have other organized beach cleanups. For example, during the International Coastal Cleanup Day, we normally have a cleanup activity, and also on other occasions we have beach cleanup activities. There's this new trend that has started in Watamu, whereby the plots that are found along the beach, that is from the hotels to the residential homes, they send out their staffs every Thursday to clean just that small bit in front of their plot. It's known as a takeaway Thursday. And once they've cleaned this, their small bits, all that waste is again brought back to the recycling center. This has really played a really big role in reducing the amount of waste that washes up on our beaches, because based on last year's International Coastal Cleanup, we noticed that the amount of waste that we collected had drastically reduced, and it's we owe that success to this Takeaway Thursday activity that has started within Watamu. Other than that, we go out to hotels to train them on how they can separate their waste. That is glass on its own, plastic bags on their own, hard plastic bottles. So for example, on that slide, you can see the separation, the waste units in that hotel there is known as Turtle Bay Beach Hotel. So once they've sorted out their waste, all this waste is again brought to the recycling center. So we receive a lot of waste from beach cleanups, restaurants, hotels, businesses, and even residential homes within Watamu. And once that waste gets to the recycling center, it is sorted by the blue team. And like I said earlier on, the blue team have been trained on how to identify the different types of plastic. So they sort them out based on type, and in some cases they go further and sort them also based on color. So once it has been sorted out, we crush it using our plastic crushing machine, which is currently the only machine we have at the moment. So we crush all that plastic into plastic chips, and from this stage we pack them into sacks, weigh them, and sell them off to companies that make plastic products within the within the coastal region of Kenya. So the money that we get after selling the crushed plastic, we plow it back into the project to help maintain the machine, as well as pay the waste collectors and the recyclers. It's not a lot of money, it's just enough to help the project to make the project sustainable. So the tourism industry also plays a big part in that. They have helped to support and sponsor some of the beach cleanup activities that we have, and this they do as part of their corporate social responsibility, which gives them a good image, as well as ensuring a clean beach, thus more tourists come to visit Watamu. As you can see, that means it's a win-win situation, both for the tourists and the local community members who are earning an income from this. Other than just the hard plastic that we collect and we crush, we notice that we also have a lot of plastic bottles coming in from the tourism industry. As you all know, Kenya banned the use of plastic bags, but we still have other kinds of plastic around us that are proving to be a problem, such as the PET bottle. With these plastic bottles, we tried, we thought of how we could put them into use. So we decided to use them for construction, as construction material. And as you can see, the bottles are taken and filled up with soil. It is cost effective since the soil, it's not the building sand that is usually bought, but it's just the soil that we collect when we dig the foundation of our buildings, or when we dig a borehole, that kind of soil, the one that we just find within our surrounding. So we fill the bottles with soil until they are very, very rigid, and from there we use them for construction of our walls. There are various techniques that can be used in construction work. For example, the one that you're seeing on the slide over there, or another technique whereby we are taking the bottles and we are using we are fitting them inside a mold to make a block. And once we have our block, that's what we use on our walls for construction. Sorry about that. So that is our plastic wall, the one that has that flowery appearance. That's how the complete wall looks like. And that flowery appearance that you're seeing there is the ends of the bottle. And it actually, we are using the whole bottle on our walls, not just the ends. You'll see how it looks like from inside in another picture. We also realized that from the tourism industry, we were also getting so much glass bottles. And given that we do not have at the moment a machine to crush them, that did not stop us from collecting these glasses and putting them into use. So what we do with them, just like the plastic bottle, we use it in construction work. And the term that I would use there is upcycling. So again, there are various techniques that can be used in making a building using waste material. And the work itself is done by our local trained mercenaries, construction guys, who in return, they train others on how to make building using waste materials. And hopefully we are hoping that the trend will pick up and be replicated in other parts within the coastal region. So that is how the finished building looks right now. So one can get creative with the waste that they get and pretty much make anything, really. And that's how it looks like from inside. Okay. We've also gone ahead and made art installation using the glass bottles, and this has helped to this project has consumed over 5,000 bottles in the construction work. That is only for the glass side of it. This method of construction has been proven to be cost effective, saving up to 10% of cement and coral blocks, but we're really trying to encourage people to shift more and use waste material as opposed to other building materials such as coral blocks, which are resources. Yeah, so but waste is a resource that is cheap and readily available. We don't only focus on glass waste, PET bottles, and hard plastic. We notice also on our beaches we have so many kinds of waste washing up, such as the sandals, or better known as flip-flops here in, we call them flip-flops here. So we normally go out and collect these flip-flops. We sort them out, wash them, and let them dry. And the excess flip-flops that we collect, we sell it to an organization here in Kenya known as Ocean Soul, which makes its products makes all its products from sandals. So we sell the excess to Ocean Soul, but the rest, our local community members use them in making curios that they sell to the tourists that visit the area. We also train the women's groups that are part of the organization on how to make jewelry and other products from the sandals they collect from the beach. And an example of a curtain that is entirely being made from sandals, and it fetches around $60. And we provide the community with a base to sell all these products. So we have a shop at our recycling center where all this waste collected, all these products made by our different community group members are sold. At the recycling center, we have a lot of tourists, both local and international, visiting us, so that also provides them with a ready market. But they're not just limited to selling their products at EcoWorld. Since they already have the skills, they are free to go and sell it pretty much to anyone, to sell it out there to anyone. The recycling center also acts as has various demo units where we show community members environmental best practices and technologies. For instance, you know that the main source of fuel in Kenya is charcoal, and to get that, one needs to cut down trees to make the charcoal. So we provide community members with we demonstrate to community members alternatives that they can use instead of charcoal. For example, in the picture that you're looking at right now, that is a group of community members being taught on how to make briquettes. So that is how the briquette looks like, and they've been made using sawdust and shredded paper. Given that we are in the coast, we also have a lot of coconut waste. That is the coconut husk, and these ones we also make them into charcoal, and encourage community members to make charcoal from such, since they tend to use it just the way it is for cooking on 3 stones, and it tends to produce a lot of heat, but a lot of smoke. But when one makes it into charcoal, it produces less smoke, which is now less harmful to one's health. And finally, the last alternative that we demonstrate to the community members and guests who come to visit us is the biodigester. Which we feed cow dung into it to generate methane gas that is connected directly to a burner and used to cook. Basically, we focus on any kind of waste that can provide a source of income. And for example, with the hotels, we've noticed that they generate a lot of organic waste that we encourage them to make into compost that they can encourage them to make them into compost. And the manure that they get, they can use that for planting herbs that they can use in preparing their dishes. And not just the tourists, but also the local community members can practice this using the excess waste, organic waste that they collect from the markets and even back at their various homes. At the recycling center, we have a demo unit where we show community members how to practice organic farming, again using manure made from organic waste. Okay, so now this is the part where I like the most. Now this is where we deal with school-going students from kindergarten all the way to the university, whereby we have a waste education program which entails going out to schools to teach students on what waste is, its effects, and better waste management practices. After we've taught them, after they've had a theory class, we take them to the ground to do cleanup so that they can understand the problem on the ground. Later on, we bring them to the we take them to do beach cleanups, and sometimes we get a bit carried away and we can make stuff using the waste that we've collected. But even then, they are always still learning about marine creatures and also waste in general. Then from there, we organize to bring them to the recycling center where they learn more about how we are recycling our waste. And to make them feel empowered, we do practicals with them where they make art pieces using the waste that they have collected. So my range of students runs from kindergarten all the way to the university, and it also cuts across to the tourists that visit the recycling center, from international tourists to local tourists. And the message that we're just trying to pass across is trying to change people's mentality when it comes to waste, so that they can think of how they can manage their own waste. That's why we focus a lot on the term upcycling. I'll show you a bit more as I continue. We also have local community members who organize themselves to visit the recycling center and be trained on how to make things from waste. And we also get our local and international interns and volunteers working on art pieces made from waste. The whole idea, or the whole reason why I use art, is because when somebody makes a piece, they feel empowered, like I can actually make it. So we encourage the people who walk through our doors to think of a way of expanding their the lifespan of the waste that they generate, through making it turning it into something else, for example, an art piece. So I lean more towards art because that's what I'm passionate about. But basically, we tend to encourage people to just try and use whatever it is they're passionate with and combine it with waste management. So those are some of the pieces that we have at the recycling center. And that one is the last one. That one's a piece that has been made using aluminum cans. So we believe that the reason why we are doing all this is because we want a waste-free marine environment, and we believe this is the responsibility of the tourism industry as well as everybody else, so as to ensure that everyone enjoys this wonderful environment that we have, cutting across from the tourists who visit Watamu, to the local community members within Watamu who depend on the tourism industry as well as the marine life, and also to ensure that we keep our oceans clean for our marine life, from the big five to the amazing underwater world. And in this way, it's a win-win situation for both the environment, the tourism sector, as well as the community members. So yeah, you can find us on our website, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter using those handles. Yeah, thank you guys. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Julie. That was such a wonderful presentation, and it's so great to see, something that we don't typically look at as being pretty, especially when you see rubbish lying around on your beaches being turned into such beautiful pieces of artwork. And I'm definitely a fellow art lover, and I really do love the projects that you're doing. So I guess then we can move on to question and answer session. I see here that Nicholas has asked or said, thank you so much, Julie. He says your presentation was great and very inspiring. I've read many hotels on Kenya coast committed to phase out single-use plastics or at least PET bottles. How is this going to affect the Eco Worlds model?
Well, the thing is, when we started the whole project, we were hoping that people would see the value of waste and put them into various uses. Though some will, for example, those hotels are phasing out the use of PET bottles. That's a win on our end. Yes, we are going to lose out on the plastic bottles, but the whole idea was to get it out from the environment and increase its lifespan. So if people are practicing reduce instead of now upcycle and recycle, it's still a win on our side. We'll focus on another waste, and if not, just still touch on just educating people on the value of waste. A good example would be the sandals. Right now, community members have started seeing the value of sandals, in that the organization that I talked about, Ocean Soul, they make all their products from sandals. So that means they're looking for it pretty much everywhere. So we have community members waking up really early in the morning during that season of the year when the ocean washes up waste on our beach. So they wake up early in the morning to go and look for these sandals. So by the time we are sending our community members to go and look for sandals on the beach, they find it hard to even come across one. So on our part, we are losing out on the items that we sell, but it's still a good thing because the amount of waste that is washing up on our beaches is being reduced. So in a way, it's a win-win situation. That's the whole idea why we started the project.
Okay, great. Thanks, Julie. And thank you, Nicholas, for your question. So just to read out some comments, Straws for a Cause says, thank you so much for that, Julie. Very inspiring the way you approach waste from all directions. And I totally agree. You're not just looking at plastic waste, you're looking at all different types of waste, which I think is brilliant. Philippa says, thank you, Julie. Great to see your ideas and passion for what you do. Then Kay also says, thank you so much for your presentation, very inspiring. Nicholas says, thank you and well noted in regards to your answer. Then Sibosiso asks, or says rather, thank you, Julie, sorry. It's wonderful work you are doing on our environment. The community I'm from, we generate a lot of waste from woodworks. Can we have details of the charcoal you are making?
Yeah, sure. With the wood, when you say woodwork, you mean sawdust or what kind of wood? Is it possible to elaborate? Or I can just go further by saying, with the charcoal, with the alternatives that we have instead of charcoal, what we do, soda, yeah. We use it to make briquettes. That is, we take the sawdust that we get, we mix it up, we add water to it, we put it in a mortar, then we just pound it with a pestle to give it a good mix. Then we squeeze out all that water so that you have a compact, it normally looks like a disc, but when you use the technique that we have, it looks like a disc. So we have a compact disc that can fit within a cooking stove. So yes, but ideas of how to make cooking or biofuel from waste are out there. You should definitely Google briquettes, or you can reach me on my through my email, and we can discuss further on that.
Great. Julie, if you'd like to type your email in the chat, if you're happy to do that, then the attendees can get a hold of you. Alternatively, you can email me and I will put you in touch with Julie. So just a comment from Holly Nell. I've followed the work you do for some time, so it was great to finally hear a seminar from you. Thank you so much. Josh says, thanks, Julie. I am inspired. Then Delali asks, or says, thank you for the presentation. I unfortunately missed a great part of the presentation. Would like to have my emails. I would like to have it. Oh, okay, sorry. So she's given her email there. So Delali, if you, Julie, if you're happy to share the presentation, that's up to you. Then
yes.
Sorry.
It's fine. Continue.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, I would like to share the presentation.
Okay. Delali, if you do wait until next week, we will upload it on our website as well, so you can get the presentation from there. Then Fiona asks, how much of the waste from the beach cleans are you able to recycle? We noticed that much of the waste from beach cleans is too degraded to recycle. Does the degraded plastic rather go into the art, or are you able to recycle much of it?
Again, when it comes to the waste that we collect from our beach cleanups, we've noticed that most of it is, as you've mentioned, degraded. So what happens is, for the ones that really look like they can't be recycled, we put them into art. So that would be upcycling. We put them into art so that to expand its lifespan, because the thing is, if we don't do that, the alternative is sending it to a landfill, and that is something that we do not want to do. So that's why we opt to make it into art.
Okay, great. Then Nicholas asked, what are the main obstacles you see in terms of legal framework in the country and nationwide? Or do you think would most help, what do you think would most help you scale up your community-based recycling effort?
Well, the biggest challenge that we are facing is that we get a lot of waste coming in, and not all of it is recyclable. We have some of it which is non-recyclable, because, for example, with the beach waste, not all of it can be, put into art, or not all of it can be recycled. So a bit of it that can't be recycled, that is what needs. We actually get rid of that, and so when it comes to support, what we require from the government side is to help out, just to get to take the bit that we can't recycle, and that's what we are hoping for them to get rid of. And another thing is, with the community members, say within where I work, they feel like with waste, with the idea of making waste into something new, requires one to have, say, some degree of education and all that. So it's, as you can tell, we started the project in 2010, and it's really taking long for it to pick up. So we are really trying to change their mentality by showing them, even doing workshops with them, for them to see that turning waste, actually upcycling waste, your own waste, does not require you to use a big machine. You can just do it yourself at the comfort of your home and make something and sell it. So changing the mentality of the community members from thinking, that this one only can be done by a certain group and not us, has been the really tricky bit over the year.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Julie, and thank you, Nicholas. He says, okay, thanks again, well noted, RE outreach and education needs. Do you have anything that you would like to add, Julie?
I would just say, thank you guys for attending. I'm sorry if I made the slides really fast. Yeah, but I was kind of hoping that in case anyone has any ideas that they are using out there in turning their waste into something else, we are normally open to learning new ideas, because even with the tourists and the local community members that come to visit us, it's not just always us who are educating them the whole time. We, on the other hand, also always learn from them. And most of the ideas that we've introduced in our recycling center have mostly come from interacting with other groups and visitors who come to visit us, or maybe just that we interact with or connect with.
Fiona says that on Ideas, are you involved with weaving of plastic waste? I've seen some lovely bags and baskets made from plastic waste.
Initially we used to sell bags made from plastic bags. We were weaving them, but then with the ban of plastic bags, that's how that product went out of market, because we no longer had the plastic bags to weave them into other baskets. So with that, we are putting it aside, but we are thinking of how to make ropes from plastic bottles and use the ropes instead for weaving the bags.
Okay, great. Out of interest, Julie, do you guys get quite a bit of fishing gear washing up on the beaches?
Yes, we also have we have plenty of those washing up around. We've made some art pieces with them. It's just that for this particular slide, I could not have uploaded everything, but there are art pieces that we've made using fishing ropes. We are also making bracelets using that is the fishing ropes that we are collecting on our beaches. And yeah, we have a lot of fishing related gears washing up on our shores.